So we have already learned about pandas and NumPy. What's next? Well, it's Matplotlib and Seaborn. So today's topic is going to be on Matplotlib and Seaborn, which is the data visualization libraries in Python. My name is Satyajit and welcome back to my channel. So in a couple of my previous videos, we talked about pandas, we talked about NumPy. Today we shall be talking about Matplotlib. Again, a repetitive disclaimer that today's video is going to be covering almost everything about Matplotlib and Seaborn. But again, I'm telling it again and again and again and again that this is an ocean, and covering an ocean in just 10 minutes, 15 minutes is very difficult. But definitely this video will be a Kickstarter in case you are new to this, in case you are new to data science, new to data analytics. Definitely this video is for you. So let's quickly get started. Matplotlib, anything and everything is, you can find it over their official website, which is matplotlib.org. You can see there are many visualizations with Python. Matplotlib is a comprehensive library for creating static, animated, and interactive visualizations in Python. Many things are there: create, customize, extend. So you can just go through this blog. I will leave this blog description, blog link in the description below, and we'll talk about this Jupyter notebook which we have already created. I think pandas and NumPy, you already have gotten that links. I shall be sharing Matplotlib and Seaborn with you. So Matplotlib is a plotting library for Python programming language and its numerical mathematical extension NumPy. So here we are going to import all these three trio, the three musketeers. So we'll import pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. So here we go. In the next step, what we have done is I have simply created a dictionary. You can see I have year and then I have exchange rates, right? So we have created this, and then we are converting this data. You can see if I just run this, you can see this is how my dictionary looks like, my data. And if I just have to print it, of course, we will be able to see the entire records year, and then we have the exchange rates, right? So in my next step, what I am doing is I'm simply calling the pd.data frame. That means any type of object, if I want to convert it into data frames, then I'll have to use pd.data frame. In case you are reading a file, we know that it's going to be read underscore CSV and read underscore Excel, right? So here we have converted our data into data frames. Here I'm passing the data, which is data, and then I'm telling that, hey, my columns are going to be year and exchange rate. So if I just run this, this is how my df looks like, df.head. I hope you know about head function. We have already learned in pandas. So this is how my data frame looks like. Now, of course, this is just an example to show you how to read a file, which is a CSV format or Excel sheets, right? I'm just ignoring this part. I don't want to run this. So I'll just comment it out. And then I'm going to plot a simple bar chart. So here I'm calling pandas data frame.plot, but this code is not enough, right? So if I just run this, this code will not be enough. Let it finish. df.plot, I'm passing my x equals to year and my y equals to exchange rate. So we can plot it using plt.show, or else without that also by default it understands that if we are calling the plot function, then it has to plot it using matplotlib. So that's how the dependencies has been created. So here I am passing my kind equals to bar. This is a bar graph. Okay, exchange rate and all those things. And then same piece of code, I'm again calling my data. So this is the same piece of code. Okay, so here if I have to call a scatter plot, same piece of code, exact piece of code, but here instead of the kind equals to bar, I'm just changing it to scatter. That means I can see the scatter plots. Scatter plots are mostly used to analyze numerical data. Let's say you have two numerical data, age versus area, or else numerical data 1 versus numerical data 2, you want to see whether there is a linear relationship or not, you can probably print a scatter plot. There are some plots called as pair plot, which is basically if you have 10 columns, you will be able to see 10 cross 10 matrix, and you will see diagonals will be the bar distribution, but the other parts will be a scatter plots within your variable 1 versus variable 1, variable 1 versus variable 2, variable 1 versus variable 3. So all these graphs will be your scatter plots. We'll talk about pair plots as well. So majorly scatter plots are used for analyzing numerical data. Okay. And then it's simple, it's the same thing. I'm just calling the scatter plots. And here, our next topic is again, it's a scatter plot, a different way of creating a scatter plot. So here I have created a NumPy array, my X and my Y, and I'm just calling plt.scatter, plt.show. Okay, that's what I remember right now. I was just thinking, what is the difference between this and this? Because the graph is almost same. You can see, I will just copy this code and I will paste it in Notepad, and I will copy this code and I will paste it in Notepad. Of course, the first data thing is common, so I'm just removing it. Again, the df equals to pandas data frame thing is also common. You can see the first part is I'm calling pandas dot plot. I'm asking kind equals to scatter. That's how you can create the plot using pandas library. In Matplotlib, you have to call plt.scatter, you have to call your df of year and df of exchange rate. That means this is your x and this is your y. So this is how the formula looks like. This is how the base code looks like, x and y. Okay, instead of that, I'm passing year and I'm passing my exchange rate. So any of these techniques will give you a scatter plot. Moving on to the next topic, which is going to be pie chart. Where do we use pie chart? Very easy, when we are having something based on 100%, right? What were the total percentage distribution of males and females, or total percentage distribution of people who are taking mathematics and biology as their first elective? So all these things which you have to compute based on 100% limit, then probably pie chart is one of the suggested answer. So how to create a plot, pie plot? Df data frame dot plot dot pie y equals to tasks. Here I'm just passing my figure size. If you just don't do it, that's okay. Okay. Oh, so well, y is equals to tasks. So okay, tasks is not defined. So I'll have to create this, and then I have to pass df of tasks. So this has to be a code which has to be run after that one. So my mistake. So here I have created a data which is tasks 100, 500, 300. Here I have converted the data to data frame. Of course, if you are having a file, just read it, and then you can just simply call this function. In your y, you have to just call the tasks. Simple, right? So here, instead of this, you can also do y is equals to df of tasks. I think it should work. Okay. So let's say why didn't work. Let's see, we will see. Okay. Okay, so data frame.tasks is basically giving me, so because of the indexes, it is providing me this thing. So let me just remove it once. So if you don't provide the indexes, it basically takes the default index, right? Now let's run this program one by one, then you will be able to understand. So here I'm creating my data, right? If I have to print data, print of data, this is how my data looks like. I have tasks and I have these values. So if I'm running this code, of course, I will get the labels as 0, 1, 2, because this is how my indexes are. My indexes are by default 0, 1, 2. If you want to provide indexes, you can provide like this. Okay, so here I'm just providing y equals to, okay, so why this y equals to df of tasks is not running? Because we are using the pandas.plot.py. Okay, so let's see I think we also have Matplotlib plot py. As I told you, I have just created some charts. Of course, there are a whole bunch of things which can be done. Okay, let's just quickly do that. And I think it's really good. Plot.py, I think it should work. Let's do this. plt.py and how to use it. plt.py. Let's just take some examples. plt.py. Okay. So let's just call this df of tasks. And then I will just do randomly, I'm just doing something, and let's see. You can see same thing has also been created. So here I am able to pass the data frame column tasks, but here the if I pass y equals to df of this, it will fail because here I'm calling the pandas data frame itself, right? So just you have to pass tasks column because it already knows this data frame. So either you can create a chart using the pandas library or else using the matplotlib. So this is how you create a matplotlib library. Okay. And then what else? Here we are reading a file. So the same file which we had done using pandas, churn underscore modeling. If I have to run this, dot head, this is how my data set looks like. And let's say I have my y variable, which is my exited. Now how to see the value counts of this column? Value counts is basically giving me I have 7,900 records for class 0 and 2,000 records for class 1. How to create a bar chart out of it? It's pretty simple. Dot plot kind equals to bar. If you just do this, a bar chart will be created. If you want a horizontal bar chart, you can do bar h. So this is how you can also plot a bar chart using value counts.plot. Okay. Apart from that, again, same things, plot kind equals to bar. Now, here we are not doing anything extra. We are just calling plot.bar. That means matplotlib.bar. I'm passing my geography, my estimated salary mean, and then I'm just passing the color, edge color. So basically, edge color means you can see here you can see orangey color, right, in the edge. So that's why edge color is used. If you just simply ignore it, so it's actually running, let it run. So if you ignore it, will take the default values, right? And if you are just passing it explicitly, it will take whatever you are passing, as simple as that. And dot title is used to provide a title to your graph. Okay, if you want to add labelings on x-axis and on y-axis, there are methods called as plt.xlabel and plt.ylabel. I'm not pretty sure why it's taking so much of time, but you can see same piece of code. Let it finish. We'll jump on to the next one. So here we have the same piece of code, but here I'm passing a font dictionary where I'm passing the font size as this and color equals to green. This is my title. Okay. It should have already run by this time. Not pretty sure why it's not running. Okay. Let's move on to the next ones. Again, here I have done the same thing, column A, column B dot max, and then I have passed some color, which is my cyan, and my edge color, which is my orange. Here I'm before your show method, I'm just calling the dot title, which basically is telling me gender versus age. Here my font dictionary is 20. Here you can see, I think everything is same. Color equals to green. That's it. Oh, this has run. You can see here there is orange, and here I have just ignored. I had ignored it, right? While I run this, I had ignored this. So there is no edge color. So if you provide edge color as blue, orange, all these things, and that's how it will work, right? It is taking a little bit time. Let's jump on to the next ones. Yes, I already told about X label and Y label. This is how your, okay, so my first code is already running. So that's the reason it will take a little bit of time, but you can see this code. plt.scatter, I have passed my X, my Y, and then I'm calling my title, which is my title of the graph, my X label, my Y label, and then plt.show. Here, same thing, same piece of code. Instead of scatter, I'm just doing haste. Trust me, guys, you just have to explore. Like, if in case tomorrow you want to create some histograms, you don't have to memorize all these things. You have the community, simply just Google it out. You will find the codes and just copy paste it, work on it, practice, 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 and then definitely you will succeed. Right. Trust me, many of the codes, even I am not pretty aware of that. Even today's date also, I search in the Google whenever I have to plot, I have to do a search on that. So yes, everything has been done. You can see edge color equals to blue, and this is how it looks like, right? Jumping back to the last part, which is exploding. What is basically a pie chart exploding? That means I want to have an explosion of one of the parameters. Now here I have JavaScript, I have Java, I have Python, I have R. Sizes I have 15, 30, that means 15%, 30%, 45%, 10%. Explode labels is 0, 0.5, 0, 0. That means I want my second item to explode from the graph, the Java to explode from the graph. So here I'm calling figure1 x1 plt.subplots. So in case you are creating multiple plots within a plot, then you have to call subplots. Here again ax1.py, I have just defined sizes, explode equals to explode level. Just in case you don't know about explode, simply matplotlib py explode. Everything, the community is so great, you just have to search it and you will understand. Explode. If not, none is a length of array which specifies the fraction of the radius with which to offset each wedge. That means each wedge or each division has to be separated out. It has to be exploded. If I just pass 0.1, run it, this is how it looks like. If it is 0.5, this is how it looks like. If you want to provide another explosion, then this is how it looks like. Python has been exploded, right? And this is how things works. Okay, I'm just reverting back. Let's say 0.2, I think, and then this is how you can do your explosions. Okay, and then how to create a box plot? Again, data frame column name dot plot dot box. Okay, so this is just a small meme. Name a better trio. I will wait. So the better trio is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib, because these are the three things which any data scientist writes before doing any piece of code. It's like if you are a Hindu, we write Ong or Sri Ganesh, right? Something like that in examination papers. And this is something like that. It has to be starting with these three lines, right? Okay, so that's it from my side, guys. And well, oh my God, how can I forget? I have Seaborn to cover as well. So let's start with Seaborn. Again, Seaborn, Matplotlib, Dash. There are many such libraries. If you just focus on libraries, you will not succeed probably. So just randomly you can do any of this. If you are just plotting it, just plot it any of them, because ultimately the plots which you will be using in your code, this is just for you. This is just for a developer, right? Because you cannot show that plots to your manager or to somebody else, because for that you will have to create really good visualizations. So for that you might need presentations, ppts, excel, power bi, or anything else. So if you are just doing on Python, Matplotlib, Seaborn doesn't really matter. You can do anything. It's just another library, right? So it is summarized that if Matplotlib tries to make easy things easy and hard things possible, Seaborn tries to make a well-defined set of hard things easy too. I mean, yes, Seaborn is a little bit easier as compared to Matplotlib. So here I am importing Seaborn. In case you don't have Seaborn, you just have to install it using pip install. I'm just commenting it out, and then importing Seaborn as SNS. SNS is my alias. Here I'm loading a data set. So in between, like by default, many such libraries are there which already has some predefined data sets, like Iris dataset. Iris dataset is very common. Iris, Penguin, many such data sets are there which are actually preloaded in those libraries. So Seaborn has a lot of libraries, a lot of data sets, out of which Irish is one of them. So if I just do this, that means it's fetching the data from the iris and then doing df.head. So let it finish. And then I have species dot value count. So species is nothing but my y variable, right? So I'm just doing my value counts here, and then I'm calling a KD plot. As simple as that. SNS is going to be very simple. Seaborn dot plot. That's it. And then inside your plot, you just pass your columns. That's how simple Seaborn is. That's the reason it is told that Seaborn tries to make a well-defined set of hard things easy too, right? So KD plots is nothing but a kernel density estimation plot. It's just it gives you a density distribution kind of thing. Okay, if you are keen to learn about what exactly is KD plot, go to Google Dev, right? And then here what I'm doing is I'm just running for a loop of different columns and then I'm plotting it. So I'm just plotting different graphs, the different kernel density graphs. Okay. Histograms plus KD will basically give you a dist plot, right? So SNS.dist plot, column name. Very simple. Seaborn is going to be very simple for you. That's the reason I have just kept 2 or 3 plots, and rest of them you can just explore by yourself. And then you can see it's a combination of a KD, which is this line, and then you can also see some histograms, right? So how to interpret and all those things, I'll probably have a video on that, but this video is especially for the library, different methods inside your Seaborn and Matplotlib. I was talking about pair plot, right? If you have 10 variables, it's going to be a 10 cross 10 visualization matrix. So here we have 4 variables. So that's the reason it's basically 4 cross 4. How to see or how to interpret a pair plot? Just ignore the diagonals. Let's say you will talk about this particular graph. This means petal length versus sepal length. So for this class, for blue class, which is setosa, for setosa, I don't see a very good linear relationship. That means if my sepal length is increasing, my petal length is not increasing. So it's not linear in nature. But for versicolor and virginica, you can see if my sepal length is increasing, my petal length is also increasing, right? So this is how you can get insights from pair plots. So of course, there are many more such plotting techniques. You just have to go through Google, just search out and then practice, practice and practice. So that's it from my side, guys. I hope this 15-20 minutes of video will definitely give you a kickstart in terms of visualization libraries, Matplotlib and Seaborn. I think that's it. I hope you are quite aware of pandas and NumPy as well. Your next step has to be EDA. EDA, I already have an end-to-end 2 hours of EDA session video. Probably I'll leave the videos link in the description below, or after this video is done, or else in the information IE button. So that's it from my side. I hope you liked the video. In case you like, please like, share and subscribe. Just a disclaimer, guys, I am coming up with a lot of statistics videos as well, more than 15-20 videos in statistics, lot more Power BI videos. Couple of days back, I was quite inactive in YouTube, almost took a gap of 10 days, but now I'm super active. I'm going to upload videos every now and then. So keep supporting and keep showering your love. That's it from my side. Winding up. Thank you. Bye.